I'm in Uganda this week looking at some of the problems associated with cancer care in developing countries. And it turns out that one of the challenges, maybe the biggest challenge, is surprisingly simple. Fred Hutch's Dr. Corey Casper, who's been working in Africa for a decade, knows the problem well.
We've studied this for the pediatric cancer, Burkitt lymphoma, and we find that one of the greatest barriers for parents being able to have regular access to care for their kids is just the simple ability to arrive at the Cancer Institute in Kampala.
Dr. Nixon Nyanzima is a Ugandan doctor and cancer researcher who's also worked at the UCI. He agrees with Casper.
A significant percentage of the Ugandan population lives in rural areas. Part of the challenge is traveling from wherever they live to the Cancer Institute. It's costly, it's far, and it just takes time.
Dr. Warren Phipps says that the problem has a direct impact on patient care.
It translates into missed or delayed visits, that patients have to wait until they're able to get enough funds, that it's often through asking members of their community to donate, and that is what is determining their ability to keep on their chemotherapy cycle schedule, for instance.
Since transportation is such an issue for patients, I've decided to find out firsthand what it's like to travel from a rural village to Kampala. I begin my journey from Polisa District, a rural area about 130 miles northeast of Kampala. We share the road, if you can call it that, with farmers, children doing chores, and livestock. An occasional boda, the ubiquitous motorcycle taxis common in this part of the world, buzzes by, stirring up the dust. This isn't comfortable or easy, but Dr. Phipps says a local cancer patient would have it much harder.
You know, they're coming from long distances and either have physical limitations due to their cancer, whether that's swollen feet that make it very challenging to walk, but also they may feel otherwise weak or nauseated, and so I think just that adds to the complication of transport.
The road eventually widens a little, and I reach a small town where a patient, if they have the money, can board what passes for a taxi in rural Uganda.
Generally, folks have to walk from their home to a roadside where they can catch a matatu, which is basically a public van that then they would have to ride probably several different matatus to get finally to the Cancer Institute.
What Dr. Phipps doesn't mention is the van is packed shoulder to shoulder with 13 other travelers. The trip is windy, hot, and dusty. The top speed usually doesn't exceed 40 miles per hour as we pass slowly through a string of small towns, swamps, banana groves, tea plantations, and one of Uganda's largest surviving forests. Dr. Casper says they've begun to deal with the transportation problem.
So when transportation comes up, as it does in more than 70% of the families, the team then addresses it by doing a number of things. Those who can live close enough sometimes are provided direct transport, but those who come from greater distances are reimbursed for their transport.
I think it has cut down significantly on the number of missed visits. I think it's also a commitment to them that we value their treatment and we value their maintaining their schedule.
We've been thinking about a number of different ways to address these issues of allowing cancer patients to have a continuous experience and receive their complete course of care.
The Cancer Institute itself is planning to open up satellite clinics in different parts of the country, and these are designed to take care to the people so that they don't have to travel to get care.
So one of the key aspects of our collaboration is building capacity. We've trained over a dozen oncologists. We've trained more than 300 healthcare workers and researchers in cancer. And now having that cadre of trained personnel can allow them to go out to these rural satellite clinics and begin to operate them.
The other model that's being done in collaboration with the Fred Hutch Center is a family house, where patients who have cancer will come and stay for the duration of their treatment.
Having adequate housing, something equivalent to a Hope House or like a Ronald McDonald House, is also a critical step and a great opportunity to provide housing for children and their parents who don't necessarily need to be inpatient, but need a place to stay and they wouldn't have to travel back and forth. And I think it's a great opportunity to also provide education and other nutrition support during care that would, I believe, have a huge impact.
I finally reached the outskirts of Kampala 4 hours after leaving the police district. The city's infamous traffic jam will take another 90 minutes to grind through. I'm tired and dirty. All I can think of is taking a shower back at my hotel. I can't help but wonder what a traveling cancer patient would do at this point. This is Mary Engel in Uganda.